Okay, we're here with Mohammed today. I'm just going to ask him what went down last week with Tan. So Mohammed, what went down last week with Tan?
Well, basically what happened was, prior to that incident, what happened was there was a man called Moses who assaulted a Muslim. He whacked him across the face, and then tensions were really high. So the police took him away in a van to this police station. And then what happened was, Tan was really upset by this because he thought that a Muslim was getting away with hitting him, and the non-Muslim was arrested and was taken away to the police station. So Tan was really upset. So he started shouting out things about Islam. He's saying that F Islam, F this and F that, and he had like a sign on which is very provocative on his cheek, which symbolizes Buddhism. But within his narrative, he's trying to hide behind that narrative that it's a Buddhism sign, which is actually not. It's actually a Nazi sign, but he's trying to hide behind this Buddhism narrative. So he just kept on shouting. So the police came over and saw what he had on his cheek and observed what Tan was saying, the violent, extreme words that he was using. So the police went up to him and spoke to him and said, you are committing a public order offence. And that's when the police came up to him and told him to move out from the park. So I told him to go home. And Tan is a very extreme person. He's a very, very extreme in his words. There are a lot of non-Muslims who are openly against Islam, but they are not extreme as Tan is. Tan is a very extreme person who openly hates Islam. He's a hate preacher. He incites hatred. He's not here to be sincere. He's not here to he's not here to be peaceful. He's here to just incite and provoke Muslims. That's what he does. He provokes Muslims. He's trying to get a reaction. And this is not what a normal human being does. We try to learn about each other's beliefs. We try to respect each other's beliefs. But Tan he's not about that. He's trying to be very provocative, trying to use extreme words against Muslims.
Okay, thank you.
That's what he is.
So another question is, why this place for freedom of speech? Yeah?
Yeah.
So why did he get chucked out?
I mean, you see, the thing is, right? There's a difference between freedom of speech and inciting hatred. Freedom of speech, I mean, if you want to disagree with Prophet Muhammad, I don't mind. You can criticize him as much as you want, but when you go to certain extreme levels to say use provocative words like F this and F that, essentially that's you're inciting hatred. You're inciting hatred, extreme hatred. Now, there was a video a couple of weeks ago where Tan made a video with Mohammed Hijab saying that he wants to reduce the Muslim population from 1.8 billion to 1.6 million. Now, when he was questioned on this, he didn't reply back. He didn't give his answer. He didn't give his stance. He didn't clarify his stance on his position. Now, as you can see, this points to to something, and this is a very extreme, because he could be the next extreme person who might run over Muslims. Now, Darren Osborne, who was a follower of Tommy Robinson, and he ran people over. And Tan,
Hitler needed one speech.
Exactly, and Tan, we never know. Tan could be the next person who might kill Muslims. We never know. We never know what's in his heart. But we know from what we've observed from Tan that he hates Muslims. He's got so much hatred in him, man. So much
blood
hatred.
speech. Do you know that?
No, I don't know.
A politician in the 50s, 60s, after the Windrush, he had a speech, River of Blood. And after that, the attention of racism happened in England. Because when the black community came to England, it was a Windrush that they called them come here. And then he had a speech in the Parliament. I forgot that politician's name. It was in my head. Enoch Powell, the River of Blood. Yes.
I mean,
so these sort of speeches create tension. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man. As I was saying, you are allowed to criticize Prophet Muhammad. You are allowed to. In the speaker's corner, people learn. You can learn about my religion. You can criticize as much as you want, But when you go to extreme levels, using provocative words, I don't think that's free speech. I think that's hate speech.
I did last week. The problem I find is, if you don't like what he's saying, why don't you ignore him? Because he's trying to grab attention, innit?
No, you see, the thing is, right, you see, past couple of weeks, right, Muslims have been ignoring him. We have been ignoring him, but he's coming to us. He's he's following Muslims,
young
right?
Muslims, new Muslims.
Especially young Muslims. He's trying to gather attention, right? Being very provocative. And we have young Muslims who are kind of ignorant, we can't really stop them. They come to the park, they hear this. Obviously,
tourists, they don't know about him. He starts with
tourists, So the thing is, he's so focused on Islam. He's so focused on criticizing, using hate speech against Muslims. So right now, Muslims are, right now, they're gradually ignoring this person. They're trying to stay away from him. But at the end of the day, he's following us. He's harassing us now. Because obviously now, the attention is leaving him. but he's trying to seek out the attention to Muslims because he's losing the spotlight. You see what I'm saying? He's following Muslims now.
Yeah.
The police must have banned him. We didn't say ban him.
But I saw a video last week, and he was just standing in the middle, doing nothing, just people surrounding him.
Last week?
Yeah. So
when he was shouting?
That's what I'm saying. When
before he shouted, just
see, there are people always.
It's tourists. It's mostly tourists, young ignorant Muslims.
When you something
but I think they want to poke him like a monkey, and then he's
to
like
provoke something.
Yeah.
If somebody's using their emotions,
Yeah.
of course they're gonna come and debate with them, and he will start. For me, I know you have the right to insult me, but you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to.
If you want to tell me I'm wrong and you want to debate with me as a human being, when we stand in front of each other, okay, freedom of speech, but we have differences. Let's start our discussion what we have in common. But if you're going to start by insulting me, how can we have a logical discussion and reasonable discussion with each other so we can understand our point of view? But I know you have the right to insult me, and I don't care. But if you want to know me, don't insult me, ask me questions. But he starts with an insult. That's my problem.
I heard a lot of people saying like you're next and you're next 10 and like they're gonna do something. What does that mean?
People are saying that you're next, as in like you are gonna get like banned or arrested for inciting hate speech.
Yeah, that's what they mean.
And my last question is like where does freedom of speech? Where does it stop? Where's the line? Because I'm not sure.
I'll answer this. Freedom of speech stops when you incite hatred, once you incite hate speech. Now, as I said, right, you can't criticize Islam, you can't criticize the Prophet Muhammad. You're allowed. This is being school now. It's free speech. You can criticize, but to a certain extent. Not when you're insulting. Inciting hate speech. Inciting racial hate speech. I think that's when it comes to stop. As I said, you are allowed to criticize Islam, but it stops when you're inciting hatred, hate speech.
And I like to add that people think here that when you say La ilaha illallah Rasulullah, you're an angel. We have bad people among us. We have hypocrites among us. We have people who incite hates. When they do it, we call them as well. Shamsi called people that this is a Muslim who supports Anjum Chaudhry. Look at that. But when other people incite hatred, we ask that why hatred? If you have difference, let's sit down and resolve it. But he doesn't want to. His main focus is, as the brother said, from 1.6 billion, he wants to bring Muslim to 1.1 million. What that tells you.
But he didn't say summer camp. Didn't he say like summer camp?
Whatever, but we know what he means.
But he's like a comedic character, isn't it? It's like
no, of course.
But we never know.
To be honest, even if he insults me,
I talked to him and I just say him like Eddie Murphy.
Care. Today I came to the park and they told me Stan is banned. I said, oh, why? And my question was why. They said, oh, I said, okay. But I don't care if he's here today. I don't even want to talk to him because when I go to him, he starts insulting me. But I don't want to hear that. If you want to reason with me, of course.
He doesn't.
But before I met Tan, right? Before I met him, I asked him because I heard about how he hates Muslims, and I never knew him. So I went up to him. I said, "How you doing? You're right." I said, I came with a nice approach.
Yeah.
He instantly asked me, "Are you Muslim?" When I said yes, his whole attitude and his whole atmosphere changed. He became more aggressive with me. He started asking me questions in a rude way. Oh, this and that. Oh, you follow this, you that. I said, where did all this animosity come from? I came to you with a nice approach, trying to find out what you're doing, what your game is. But his whole stance when he found out I was a Muslim was different. It changed completely.
Yeah, because he puts every Muslim in the same box.
Yes,
he has.
And he just
that's our point.
And he doesn't want to listen.
He has like a phobia. I'm not sure. He has like a phobia.
Some sort of misconception. Yeah, some sort of unjust happened to him, and he has this mindset that, and then he reads our verses and tells us what it means. He doesn't know Arabic. He doesn't know nothing. He reads the verses. He makes his own conclusion and comes and says, "There we go. Did I tell you?" But he told me that we are, as a Muslim, we think deep inside us that we're going to kill all non-Muslims.
He thinks
look how mad it is that 1.6 billion people in the world, they think to kill their fellow human being. That's madness.
He puts us all in like one box. Like, I don't understand. Like, this guy, he's here. He's not here to be sincere. Yeah. He's here with a game and an agenda. Yeah. And he's trying to ridicule and trying to, make Muslims look bad by being very provocative in his speech. And he wants to get a reaction.
One reason I had with him, I said, why do you hate? He goes, you guys demand so much. Why do you talk and loud? And I said, listen, this country tells me, as a human being, I have the right of speech, right of freedom of religion, freedom of expression. When I express myself, when I express my religion, why do you get angry? Because you tell me that I have this right. But his argument was, no, as long as you're not Muslim, you have these rights. The moment you are Muslim, you cannot express your religion, you cannot express your view. They're going to tell you a traitor, they're going to call you ungrateful, we let you in this country. And what do you mean let me in this country? But you told me I have the rights of freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion. When I express my religion, when I exercise my rights, you tell me, you're a Muslim, remember? Because some idiots from the Muslim lands, our hypocrites, they do something bad and they tell us, but then tell me, this is not the land of freedom of speech. This is not the land of freedom of expression. Then I would shut up. When I see unjust, of course I will talk about it, because this land tells me I'm free. When I express it, because I'm a Muslim, how dare you talking? Is this fair?
I have one last question, not to do with Tan. Enough of Tan, yeah. He's gone now.
He's gone.
But one last question about the prayer, like they banned the prayer. Like, what do you think about that?
It's not banned. We spoke to the police officers, and they clearly told us that it's a policy, it's not a regulation. Now, we can pray in congregation and the police won't do nothing because the police are not here to enforce regulation. No, they're here to enforce regulation, not the policy. And, praying in congregation is a policy.
It's law of the land.
Exactly, so we can pray in congregation, but the policy says that we can't. But the police can't do anything about it because they're not here to enforce the policy. They're here to enforce regulation.
Yeah, and that's law of the land. And funny enough, Sharia tells us to obey the land of this land, obey the law of this land. We don't want, like they talk about Sharia and stuff. No, we don't want anything. So our Sharia law tells us to obey this law because it's a Christian country, it's a secular society.
Yeah, I mean, it's not banned. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. They can't ban.
It doesn't matter. We're going to go pray in our car or somewhere else. Who cares?
Even if it does, how would the Metropolitan Police look like in the media? They will have a very bad reputation, a very bad name. We have all kinds of people, right in the park right now, right, meditating, doing yoga, and praying in their own ways. I mean,
my point was freedom of expression, freedom of religion.
So why is it when Muslims are praying, why is it such a big thing? You see that there's so much hate towards Muslims and Islam. There's so much hate towards the Islamic religion.
Criticize, I don't mind.
See, Christians right now,
hatred.
Christians right now are praying.
Of course,
are praying, saying, "Oh Jesus, oh Lord Jesus." They're dancing, praising Jesus. They're praying. It's a form of prayer, form of worship. But Muslims have never went to the place and said, "You know what? They're praying. Ban them." But it's only when Muslims are praying. They're not Muslims praying, right? They're not affecting no one. They're not in no one's way. They're not harming anyone. Why is it a problem? Why is it such a problem? I don't understand. But the prayer will not be banned. I'm telling you right now, the police have clarified it with us. They've informed us that it will not be banned. You can carry on praying because we're not here to enforce a policy. We're here to enforce a regulation. Because remember, praying in congregation is not a regulation. It's not a law. It's a policy. And the policy doesn't have to be obeyed.
When did they stop letting people pray in here then?
Sorry?
When did they stop letting people pray in here?
It's not start. A couple of weeks ago, there was a follower of Tommy Robinson, a Tommy Robinson fan follower. She basically complained to the police. She saw Muslims praying right there, so she got her phone out and started recording. And she went to the police officer and said, "You know what? They're praying. Can you ban them? Can you stop them praying?"
And on that basis alone.
On that basis,
and that one woman.
That one white woman, right? She had a woman. It was a white woman, right? She went to the police. Yeah.
And go on. And that alone.
And that alone triggered the whole situation. That triggered the whole scenario of Muslims.
Just a second. So they were doing their salah, and then what? They stopped mid salah?
No, they didn't stop them. They let them finish, and then once they finished it, they told them, "Listen, you guys can't pray in congregation anymore."
And the reason being because
that woman.
She doesn't like it.
Because one person complained.
Yeah.
That one white person complained. One white woman.
It's okay, it doesn't matter. As I said,
It matters.
we're not demanding too much.
It matters. Do you know why, right? I guarantee you.
course.
I guarantee if a black man, if a black man, right, a non-Muslim, a black man or Asian non-Muslim, right, or Chinese person complained to the police would have carried on. But because it was a white woman, she has privilege. That one white woman, right? Because of that privilege that she has, she was given that you know, that stance, that position where the police had to take action because she was white. Yeah, that's what I believe, man.
No, there is. Trust me, racism. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That code,
How can-
22 years.
the code that they live by.
How can one person, how can
I've
one
been
white
living
woman
for 22 years. I still doesn't belong here. People keep reminding
for
me.
years, many
Like,
years?
why you don't go home?
What
Do you know what I mean?
exactly?
So whatever you do.
Thank you, Mohammed. So
You're
you
like,
know,
no problem, as long
one
as you don't
message
look
to
like-
my channel for everyone watching. It's
What's your channel? What's the name of the
called
channel?
Inspired Champion.
Sorry?
Inspired Champion.
Inspired
Inspired
champion.
channel.
As long as you don't edit.
Nice channel for
Say again. Inspired.
Inspired Champion.
Inspired champion.
Yeah, go on, guys.
No Muslims
subscribe
on
to it. Subscribe to his channel.
Yeah.
Inspired.
No, as long as-
Inspired Champion.
Champion.
Inspired Champion. Subscribe to the channel. It's a very good channel. I'm not sure. I'm gonna check it out.
I
when
pray
go home.
that he doesn't
subscribe.
edit. Whatever he records, he should put it. Whatever is the truth, let the audience make their decision, who are intellectual and everything, to get reason and everything. As a Muslim, we don't demand nothing, just equal citizen. That's it.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. What's
Thank
your
you.
name?
My name is Mohammed.
Mohammed.
Yes.
Both Mohammeds.
And I'm from Afghanistan.
Such popular name.
Yeah, it's a big name, man.
I'm from Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
So I've lived the life of war,
Yeah.
and I've lived here as well, and I compare things, and I see that when I talk about injustice or injustice of society, they tell me shut up because we let you in this country. But you told me it's a free land.
Is it still rolling?
It's a free land.
I want to say one thing. Is it still rolling,
Yeah,
right?
it's still rolling, okay.
You know, there are so much. I'm gonna go right now. It's gonna be quick. There are so many people right now in the park, right? You hate Muslims and hate Islam. Even the media, right? There's so much hatred. But guess what? Islam is still growing. Every single week in the park, right alone, at least 2 people becoming Muslims. At least. This guy behind you was a Muslim. He became Muslim. There's one guy that wants.
Yeah, he's English.
There's one guy that wants to
3
become,
weeks ago.
There's one guy that wants to become Muslim today as well. It's going to keep on growing. No matter how much hatred you show to our religion, it's going to keep on growing.
Some idiots, we think we want to kill our next human being who stands next to us. Idiot.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's it, man.